Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, Khushamdi, Ji Ayanu, Goeiemorgen, Ishpata.
Pakhairagale, ni hao, tune shumme, washmale, ohio, guzaimes, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan wasalan marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, suavia, bhalli karaya. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV World. You're definitely watching World this morning, alongside my very fantastic, superb, and amazing co-host. She happens to be Miss Shiza Hashmi. I happen to be Shahzad Hassan Khan. It's a fine, very cold Monday morning over here in Islamabad. The temperature's around somewhat around 8.5 degrees centigrade, which means it's really cold. But we hope and bro, the people out there in 46 different countries are ready to kickstart their day with us. Hello Shiza, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for asking.
Wow, wonderful.
And well, of course, it's so cold over here. It's just this morning. I shut down my alarm 3 times because I felt like I need to be in the blanket just a little more.
Wow.
And to be honest, I wanted to carry the blanket all over the house, in the kitchen, and well, while I was ironing my clothes, getting ready, it was so cold.
All right, so where did you leave the blanket now?
Well, it's in the TV lounge, so as soon as I get back home, I'm going to get it back again.
Wow, that's wonderful. But Shiza, obviously we had a very fantastic and a very busy weekend. You know, we were working, alhamdulillah, over the weekend as well. And it was for the very first time in your life that you actually hosted a live concert. So first of all, a big round of applause for you.
Let's talk
that you actually took this initiative, you took this plunge, and you were very strong and bold. That too onto the stage as well. You really didn't had any kind of stage fright. How was it for you?
All right, so first things first, for Islamabad Pindi people must know this because it was a huge event. I think the credit definitely goes to you over here in terms of giving me the opportunity. Otherwise, of course, I would have never had, because I feel like this is not sort of my forte or something, you know, entertainment, a concert for that matter. But I had 100% faith in Shahzad, and just knowing the fact that Shahzad is going to be co-hosting with me. So I was like, you know what, of course, this is not going to be bad. So we just did it. And well, the experience was so much fun, of course. In all honesty, I had dealt with live audience before, but dealing with a live audience that is just waiting for Atif Aslam to appear and chanting and whatnot, it was a little scary in the beginning, to be honest, but then it was fun. Wow. So well, it was great. What about you though? I remember, so Shahzad is just all over the place, all over the stage, throwing gifts to the audiences, engaging with them, making them dance. Even the moment one of the audiences actually dies down or sort of, you know, takes a break, Shahzad's like, no, this is not going to happen. He makes sure everyone's on the same page.
And you know, we divided the audience into two teams as well.
Mine was
I think
louder,
that Shahzad's team actually won, because Shahzad, from first, obviously, she was looking very pretty as well. And then there were a lot of young boys out there, and they chanted slogans of Shahzad too as well. But Shiza, you did a great job, and a long way to go as well, inshallah. But thank you very much for being there. It was wonderful to actually have co-hosted a live concert alongside you. Wonderful. And I think that, you know, there are more newer avenues out there for people which they really need to kind of invest their time in. So the more time you're going to invest in it, inshallah, the better we're going to get at it as well. But for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, today we are actually going to talk about a very important day which actually passed by on the 20th. And before we kind of speak about it, on the 19th of November, ladies and gentlemen, we have a commission over here in Pakistan which actually goes with the name of National Commission on the Rights of Child. Now, when we talk about this commission, ladies and gentlemen, you know, the foundation was actually laid back in 1989 or 1990. It was rectified as well, but it never came into being. You know, the sad state of affairs, affairs of state, you know, whichever way you want to put it. But alhamdulillah, you know, then there was this visionary lady who actually came up and she said that, you know, I'm going to take up on the task as well. So on 28th of February 2020, I guess this commission was formed, and it was there for the very first time that there was a commission who actually had a role to kind of monitor, statutory role, where they are going to kind of, they can enforce anything, and that too all over Pakistan. They're not leaving anybody behind, and you know, 18th Amendment does not even make any difference. The best part that they are so powerful that they can enforce all of these things is that it was actually constituted under the Act of Parliament as well, where, ladies and gentlemen, initially when this lady took over the office, there was no office.
Yeah,
you know, I think this is something which we need to talk about. And this lady, you know, having served with the European Union and, you know, different other offices as well for a longer period of 10 years, I think she had that vision that how she really needs to look after the children, and that too of our country. Where we talk about children, ladies and gentlemen, we really need to talk about 22 million children out of schools. We need to talk about sexual harassment. We need to talk about labor, bonded labor. when you talk about different kinds of abuse which exist for a child over here in that country. And anybody under the age of 18 is a child.
Definitely. So you're absolutely right, Shazad. There are so many things we need to discuss just under this topic too. Very quickly, let's take a look at this report that we have, a very informative one, which is going to tell us in detail the types of, abuse.
On child labor
yes,
and abuse.
Of course, that exist in Pakistan. When we come back, we have a lot of questions and a lot of things to discuss with this very apt guest over here. Let's do this.
Millions of girls and boys throughout the world are engaged in work that deprives them of adequate education, health, leisure and basic freedoms, violating their rights. Of these children, more than half are exposed to the worst forms of child labor, such as work in hazardous environments, slavery or other forms of forced labor, illicit activities such as drug trafficking, as well as involvement in armed conflict. On the other hand, the unprecedented economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic is pushing children into exploitative and dangerous child labor. Many children feel they have no choice but to work to help their families survive, but a rise in child labor is not an inevitable consequence of the pandemic. Africa ranks highest among regions both in the percentage of children in child labor. However, before the pandemic, countries had made remarkable progress in reducing child labor. According to the International Labour Organization, the number of children in child labor decreased by approximately 94 million between 2000 and 2016, a drop of 38%. Growing worldwide movement against child labor and provides an opportunity to gain support from governments, civil society, schools, youth and women's groups, as well as the media in the campaign against child labor. Governments and donors should prioritize cash allowances to enable families to maintain an adequate standard of living without resorting to child labor.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that was for you better understanding. But other than that, the best part over here is that more than 50 channels will actually be disseminating messages, and that too where this campaign was launched, which was all about prevention against child abuse. The credit goes to NCRC as well, but it was in accordance to, because on the 20th, ladies and gentlemen, it was the Universal Children Day as well. So I think congratulations to people at NCRC, the way they've put up the show as well, and the way they've actually kind of organized and managed the entire campaign, where they have made sure that PEMRA is going to be in a partnership with them, and then PEMRA will actually regulate this to other media houses as well.
Brilliant.
Where they need to play all of these amazing messages about bad touch, good touch, how the children really need to ask for help, how the parents needs to be out there on their toes as well to kind of realize, God forbid, if there's something wrong with my kid, because I think it's the parents who in the first place really need to understand this. So
and
without
about time we do that.
Exactly. And Shizad, the best part is yet to come. So, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it because of the fact that imagine that whenever we talk about such commissions, now for example, you know, we even did a show with Miss Neelofar Bakhtiar, who's actually working on the National Commission for Status of Women. I mean, obviously she's a lady, so you know, it's good that she can actually kind of talk in the perspective of what women really want.
Right.
So imagine that, you know, if there's a commission and if there are no children within the commission, how do you think that, don't you think it will be incomplete?
It would definitely be so. And I was actually going to ask you, and I thought maybe I'll save it for later, because when we talk about the rights of children and what they need, we definitely need to hear from them.
Yeah.
And I hope they have that inclusion.
Exactly. So they have, mashallah, 2 or more members as well, the children member who are out there and who always make sure that this is something which the children might need. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, the Iron Ladies over here in the studios with us. She's been in a great job. She's made sure, because on the event it was the European Union and the Hukuk-e-Pakistan as well, and I think I need to mention them, and the Ministry of Human Rights. Yes, they got, all of them did a great job, but I think it is for the chair lady to kind of let us know whether you know, everything I said was right or not. So ladies and gentlemen, the chairperson in CRC, we're very lucky that she's taken out time. She is Ms. Afshan Tahseen Bajwa. Hello ma'am, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam, and a very good morning to you, to everybody who is watching this program.
Thank you very much ma'am once again, and congratulations on kind of embarking on a journey which is actually going to create a difference, and that too, not just difference, create awareness amongst parents, children, and in fact all stratas of the society. So congratulations.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to all of you who participated, who just paid their part and who advocated for it, who shouted out loud for the rights of children. And I just want to congratulate you as well, the way you engage children, you spoke for them daringly, I must say, particularly in front of all the media, who further took it over all around the country. And I was just getting phone calls from people when it was being played on different TV channels. My relatives, number of people called me and said, you are everywhere. So why I was happy, because I wanted that NCRC should be everywhere. This commission should be everywhere.
Definitely.
We will come and go, but this commission would remain here, and it will keep on playing its part for the protection and rights of children.
Wow, that's wonderful. And not just that, ladies and gentlemen, as I earlier mentioned, that obviously, you know, children, they do play a very important role. Obviously, the future of our country depends on their shoulders as well. So we really need to protect them, we really need to save them, nurture them, nourish them, educate them. But we can do it better if they kind of let us know that, hey, you know what, we need this for our nurturing. Hey, you know what, we need this for our education. I think it's going to be a two-way channel. So we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by a child member of NCRC. She happens to be Miss Faryal Javed. Hello, Assalamu Alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum Assalam, good morning to you all.
Thank you very much for joining us. Wonderful to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I have to actually begin this conversation with where you said that you were so happy that you were all over the media and how it created a buzz. And I think we realize, you, me, and all of us here, especially in the show, we realize that the reason it created a buzz, other than of course your hard work and effort is, no one talks about it. Did we ever see a TV show actually, or a talk show, or a morning show, or any content at all in Pakistan specifically that spoke about children being violated? No one did that, because the violators are adults who cannot be questioned. And now when you talk about all of this, everyone's really riled up, I want to say, because it has happened to each and every single adult, individual or child out there. And it means any sort of violation. It can definitely be sexual, but it can also be verbal, it can be emotional, mental, physical, any sort of violation. So I want you to begin with starting some sort of, sharing some sort of stats as well about Pakistan, and then the response of this event.
First of all, let me just tell you that I am very much mindful of this fact that we have to work a lot on awareness raising.
Yes.
And particularly we have to work for those for whom we are all working. Normally in Pakistan there are lots of institutions, but these institutions are supposed to be providing their services to the right holders, but those right holders never know that where are those institutions, or what are those institutions, what type of services they can provide us. So this is a big gap here in our country. So that's how we thought very smartly, and soon after the establishment of this commission, we went to the chairman Pamra. We just held a detailed meeting with him, and just maybe a week before we had another meeting with Chairman Pamra, and we are thankful to them for providing us their full support. And a week before, they wrote a very strong letter to all TV channels that we should be at the programs, and all these video clips related to child rights and child abuse should be played on different TV channels.
Right.
They also took those from us, less than 1 minute clips, so that they can also forward it to other channels. So this is something which is very, very important. As far as numbers is concerned, if you see child sexual abuse numbers, which are like 8 or 10, 11 children abused every day, but I don't agree with it, because these are just the reported cases.
From 2016,
yeah, they are just the reported cases from different newspapers, which we actually see. This is a very strong stigma in society. People never talk about it.
True.
It might be maybe in hundreds and thousands, or maybe much more.
And you might not
Same
know.
like child labor, people say 3.3 million. Again, I don't agree with it, because it was 1996 when the last survey took place. So after that, we have no survey, and then a number can be huge. And another important factor, when we say 22.5 million girls out or children out of school, again, I don't agree with it, because this population is growing with a multiplication, multiplier effect, doubling effect.
Definitely.
So it's 2.4% per year is the population. So for past 5 years, we are saying the same numbers. So I think the actual situation is much more scary, and grave, and much more sad if we actually see the situation of children. Again, street children, we have no answer. So we have to find those answers, because if you really want to prosper, if you really want to grow socially, economically, a mentally positive nation, then you have to invest in your children.
True.
And
Yeah,
the foremost
definitely.
first indicator would be what is there available for them.
Absolutely.
Right? It's not only laws. Laws are there now. We are over legislated country. More than 110 laws are there now in Pakistan. Now we have to focus.
I like over legislated.
No, we are over legislative country in the world now. So now we have to focus on the institutions
Definitely.
at one hand. Those institutions which have to provide services to our children. If they are like street children, if they are, God forbid, vulnerable, if they have any sexual abuse, kidnapping, abduction, poverty, any type of health issues, education issues, you name
Stunted growth,
malnourishment, and the recreation, right to live, with dignity.
Yes.
All these services are supposed to be provided by the state.
Definitely.
Side by side, on the other hand, I think the foremost and important thing is role of society. What is the role of parent and a caretaker and the other, all those caretakers who have to play their part, so that both government and society should join hands to provide that beautiful present and future to their children.
Exactly.
So this is something we have to think about it. Let me just tell you, you must be hearing it on different channels, good touch, bad touch, good touch, bad. You see, I used to speak a lot. Then there was a time I said, wait, who is responsible, accountable to support and protect the children? Parents suppose. So I just, through this TV channel, now want to start another thing, another civil society and donors. Everybody should pick it. Good parenting, bad parenting. Please now
People
focus
don't
on
like
that.
to hear that.
Right? Because we have to now focus who is children.
But we
cannot do
need
anything
examples
else
for that as well. We need examples of good parenting. Okay, probably,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm sitting in front of you, so you might think about good
And then-
parenting when I might come in front of you.
And then stunting, like we said. 47% we used to say our children. Disability, we have no law. Early child marriage, still we have to go a long way.
Inclusive education.
Inclusive education, we have to go a long way. Child domestic labor, we have to work on the legislation and its implementation across the country. So these facts and figures are very, very horrible. And now we have to really focus on our children. When these kids, whenever they speak to the audience, they say, we know we are not your constituency. We cannot give vote. That's why we are ignored. So this is a big blow.
Exactly.
It is definitely so, and it is definitely sort of true as well. We'll get to that, but where we talk about, Shazad, the insane number of these cases, reported and unreported ones, they are huge. And like you said already, I don't know when was the last time the survey actually did happen. So we don't know the exact or the real situation of the entire scenario that is going on. I want to talk about something that is so basic to understand, that goes into all of our minds as well, but just imagine how important this particular fact is. That when we talk about children, definitely constitutionally, ma'am, you already mentioned, we do have the rights. The first part of 25th article does sort of tell us that you deserve equality, you deserve protection, state will provide you that. That is absolutely brilliant. But are we exercising that, and how can we exercise that is my question over here. Because we love to talk about more than 60% of the population that is youth, and then imagine the population that is below youth, that is children. All of these people are the ones who are going to make the new Pakistan or the future Pakistan. These are the ones who are going to be policymakers, lawmakers, people in decision-making roles at all. Imagine if all of them or most of them were violated or abused, imagine the state of mind to grow in. So coming to you, Faryal, because mashallah, you're so learned at such a young age, I want you to tell me what are some of the things that really bother you, that you wish you could change for the children of Pakistan, so that when they grow up, things will be different for them.
First of all, I want to say to adults that people ignore children. People don't even know their child rights. ठीक है, जब बड़ों के बारे में बड़े करते हैं तो घर के मामलों में भी बच्चों को शामिल नहीं किया जाता.
That's true.
ठीक है. उसके अलावा जब बच्चे उनसे कोई बात करते हैं तो वो उस तरीके से इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं देते. वो कहते हैं ठीक है आप चले जाएं.
बच्चे कहते हैं कलर पेंसिल से दीवार पे लिखना, वो फिर कैसे इजाजत है? मुश्किल हो जाएगा ना थोड़ा सा.
इजाज़त नहीं, जब बच्चे अपने मसले लेके आते हैं उनको लगता है कि बच्चे हैं, उनको इग्नोर करें. दूसरा ये कि जो हमारे बच्चों के लिए ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म अभी तक नहीं बना जहाँ पे बच्चे बोलें और जो मतलब जो स्टेट है उनकी बात सुने और के पॉलिसी मेकर्स बात सुने और पॉलिसी के जरिए अपनी बात जो है वो मतलब मनवाई जाए.
TK, which is great, which is why I feel like NCRC, this commission is perfect, and it should have definitely been existed years ago as well. Yeah, I wanted to add
NCRC is
more.
the first ever commission के जिसमें children को child participation को ensure किया गया है. तो ये like me, I didn't know before joining NCRC के these are the child rights. Children are this much important. I am this much important. But after joining NCRC, I got to know that importance of child rights to survive in the society and in future.
Right.
So
Did you tell your friends about the rights that you guys have?
जी बिल्कुल, और बच्चे शेयर भी करते हैं ना. लाइक रिसेंटली कोविड के बहुत ज़्यादा केसेस थे, तो कोविड में एजुकेशन कितनी ज़्यादा हमारी इफ़ेक्ट हुई है.
बिल्कुल.
तो बच्चे आते थे, कहते थे कि हमारी क्लासेस में, एजुकेशन में और एग्जाम्स में भी इतने ज़्यादा मसले हुए हैं.
Exactly, which
तो
is why
सबसे ज़्यादा एजुकेशन इफेक्ट हुई है. और अभी स्मोक का भी लाहौर में है इतना ज़्यादा, उसकी वजह से स्कूल में
I
भी
think
बहुत
everybody is
प्रॉब्लम
going to be taking that impact as well, and we really need to kind of move forward and look forward what the solutions are. But I have a question for you, and it's a very serious question. I hope that you can do justice with that. Now imagine that when we talk about NCRC, obviously NCRC is a figure where they can see all the evil, where they can see, hear all the evil, and where they can probably kind of understand all the evil happening, that too against children. Now imagine, but NCRC's hands are tied. NCRC cannot do anything. They can enforce, they can speak,
Aware.
they can tell that, hey, you know what, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. What do you feel about it, that that we do have a body which can pretty much enforce anything and everything, that too all across Pakistan, but their hands are tied. Now, how do you think things will change? Because NCRC will give us the data analysis. NCRC is going to tell us, in this area this is happening, in that area this is happening. But who do you think towards the end of the day will go and fix that problem for all the children?
लाइक चेयरपर्सन ने भी कहा, दे आर लॉज, कमीशन भी बन चुका है, हम अपना काम अपने तक करेंगे, लेकिन बाकी का काम तो सोसाइटी का है.
हाँ जी.
सोसाइटी काम करेगी, हमने अवेयर करना है. जब तक सोसाइटी खुद इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं पता चलेगी सोसाइटी को, तब तक वो कैसे काम करेंगे.
Which is why now what I actually want to mention, because she actually gave the very, I think the best answer, and that is that, everybody knows what their role is. Now we have to play our role, which is why I'm going to move back to Madam Chair over here. And I'm going to ask the same question, that, that you were actually heading an institute or a commission where your hands are literally tied. You can tell everybody to do this, but if they do it or they don't do it, what will be the repercussions? So, how do you think? Because today I'm actually talking to mothers, fathers, nurses, doctors, engineers, media moguls, anybody who's out there. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it is for each and every one of us to understand, because even if you're not a parent as of now, you will be becoming a parent. So please, ma'am.
Okay, the other day when I was speaking to the media at large, I just did not mention one thing, because I don't believe in that approach. I believe in an approach of outreaching people and creating awareness and creating a demand. The more the demand is, the more people should speak for their rights. This commission had certain mandate, which I mentioned that day, to work on the legal reforms, institutional reforms, awareness, complaint handling, compliance on laws. But this commission has got certain powers also. Powers to inquire, powers of a civil court. We can summon to the
Human right to commissioners, IG,
we can summon
police.
to the government institute. It's a power of civil court to, of inquiry to the government organizations, to the autonomous bodies, to the private non-government organization, to the, civil society. So this is a power which we can, use to ask them to just
Have you put
appear
that
in
power
person.
to use as of now?
No, I haven't done it.
Are you going to do that? God forbid if somebody is not listening.
When there is an extreme case, definitely we can do it, and then we can maybe I'm
you're
not
going to
using
exercise it.
ask them the further judiciary, maybe through some petition, and they can go on. But I will not do it, because I have seen that all the departments equally want to work. It's sometimes they have their own issues, agendas, as well as sometimes issues also, gaps also. Like I know this, our IG police in Islamabad is very, very active person. So he might have an issue of police force, budgeting, and lots of other issues. So it's not always that it's the people who don't want to work. They have certain gaps and maybe certain issues. But the major problem in Pakistan is working in silos, no coordination among the stakeholders, no communication, parallel working, doing similar things without converging. And this is an area we need to focus upon. But I believe that that's why, I know being a programmer that I have to work smarter. then harder. I don't have 10 years of my tenure, it's just 3 years, 2 years past, 1 year left. So I have to make this commission so visible, and I have to engage it with the concerned stakeholders. At one hand, I engage it with the obedient people. On the other hand, recently we have signed an MOU with the Young Parliamentarian Forum. So when we are now formally engaged with our parliamentarians as a partner, so when we will be working, we will be engaging them all across the country, starting from the federal, putting them all are learning from all over the country. What is the situation of laws? What is the situation of institutions? What is the situation on the ground? What is their role? Or what are the actual things they can do? Because they are not present like us everywhere, seeing with the lens of a child rights and protection approach. So that's how we do. Whatever we will be doing will be passing it on to them and then telling them to do that thing. So there are various strategies we have adopted: child participation, directly engaging children, awareness raising, complaint handling. We have handled so many complaints. When this commission was formulated, we were smart enough to go all across the country to meet in every province with the IGP, IG police, prison, home department, the speakers, the judges, the chief justice, and other secretaries, social welfare, parliamentary committees on child rights, the commissions in the province, they are concerned, heads of those commissions. So once we engaged with all these commissions, we put up different reports to them. Up till now, we have sent various reports to the chief secretaries in each province, telling them the situation. So
ma'am, very quickly, one small thing. Obviously, because you're so exuberant, and alhamdulillah, the way you put up with whatever challenges which came your way. I think the way you're speaking extempore is because of the fact that you've done all of that, all of these things. And truly a big round of applause to you too as well, because the way you picked up and how you really didn't had any office, no table, no chair, no Wi-Fi, no phone, no nothing, which totally means this is something which I mean I like the way you're working, and I like your direction, because there's no pulling you down. The best part is because you had this in you that okay, I want to do something for the children of my country. Now, but imagine that without any office facility, without any team, no other members working, all of a sudden you got to know that you've been appointed the chairperson for a commission where you don't know where to go. Now imagine, to us and to the world, it actually looks like as if the government's really not paying enough attention towards this commission as well, because we're talking about children who really are not going to have an impact, that too on the vote bank. Now in probably 3 years time, because you are only left with a year, you've done some remarkable job and you're taking it further. Imagine, God forbid, somebody comes over and they're like, hey, you know what's in it for me? Because what am I going to get out of it when I'm not going to get paid any salary, when there won't be any team, and there won't be any people who will actually go to European Union or Pakistan that, oh yeah, chalo, let's do something for the children of Pakistan. What's going to happen with the commission in years to come? Do you think it will go up? It is just because the fact that it was you over there and you had resources, you brought them in for the betterment of the country. What will happen with the commission in the first place? Don't you think that the government really needs to pay attention that, hey, you know what, we have a commission, and God forbid if a commission writes a report which is not really in the favor of the government really will be penalized by the international forces. What do you have to say?
First of all, definitely, first of all, I want to congratulate government, because this commission was being, people were advocating for it, all the governments were advocating for it, but credit goes to the current government, PTI. It's a feather they had that they established this commission after 30 years through the facilitation of Ministry of Human Rights. But at the same time, I believe that having such structure, now this should be functional, and this should be the need of the hour, should be dealt as an emergency, because this is directly related to the image of our country. It's not that only, definitely, first of all, if there is a rise of issues of children in the country, such bodies should be strengthened, such bodies should be functional, such bodies should be performing, and the prerequisites are always secretariat and the resources and human and financial resources. But definitely it should be focused as an emergency, because it's not only that only all of us are asking for it, the international community is also looking toward this commission. Why? These commissions are always established as an obligation to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Child. So we are directly linked with the GSP plus. So I definitely government is supporting it, and I would request that it should be further supported, so that whoever comes and goes, but the commission should keep functioning.
Exactly, that's wonderful, which is why towards the end, because it is all about children, how would you want to wrap it up? Because we want a message from you for all the children who are out there. Say something to the children as well and their parents, please.
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई वांट अडल्ट्स टू कि वो चिल्ड्रंस की ज़रूरत को समझें.
Okay.
आई वांट देम टू प्रोवाइड अस अ सिक्योर फ्यूचर एंड बाय protecting our rights, by equipping children so that they can consult. अगर उनको कोई मसला है तो वो जितनी भी हमारी हेल्पलाइंस हैं, हमारे पीएम पोर्टल्स हैं, वहाँ पे आसानी से हमसे रब्ता कर सकें, अपने मसले बता सकें. तीसरा ये कि जो मैंने कैंपेन में भी कहा था कि हमें एक प्लेटफॉर्म दें बच्चे को, चाइल्ड असम्बली बना के, चाइल्ड पार्लियामेंट बना के, जहाँ पे बच्चे बोलें, बच्चों को अपनी आवाज़ मिले, पॉलिसी मेकर्स उनकी आवाज़ सुने और अपने पॉलिसीज़ के जरिए हमारे मसले हल करें. दूसरा जो बच्चों से मैं ये कहना चाहूँगी कि वो अपने अगर उनके साथ कोई मसला होता है तो वो शेयर करें, वो चुप करके ना बैठें. और मतलब अगर वो अपने पेरेंट्स से शेयर नहीं कर सकते तो अपने टीचर से करें. और प्राइमरी स्कूल से जो मैट्रिक तक हर क्लास टीचर जो है फीमेल होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि बच्चे मेल टीचर्स के साथ बातें शेयर नहीं करते, वो फीमेल टीचर्स के साथ बातें शेयर करते हैं.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you very much, Faryal, for all of these lovely messages. Do you want to kind of translate them for the English audiences?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, of course, Faryal wants everyone to be in coordination with their children, the parents and guardians especially, listen to them, have an open ear for them, open heart for their issues as well, because they're just as much individuals as adults are. On this note, we're definitely heading out to a short break, but the interesting part over here is the entire world actually knows how things are operating and how children, especially the young ones, are actually so important for the nation's future as well. And you know, Shazad, propagandas and a lot of, I want to say, malignant plans are actually going on the internet as well. It's sort of you can say a type of modern warfare as well, where actually different nations target each other's youth to spread false information.
Yeah, just yesterday I opened up my laptop and my antivirus actually kind of gave me a notification where the notification said your personal information is on dark web now. Please make sure that you run the antivirus. And I was really scared. We will be talking about this cybersecurity, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the short break. Good morning.
Let's do it.
Badshai Mosque, or the Royal Mosque in Lahore, commissioned by the 6th Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb in 1671 and completed in 1673, is the second largest mosque in Pakistan and South Asia and the 5th largest mosque in the world. Epitomizing the beauty, passion and grandeur of the Mughal era. It is Lahore's most famous landmark and a major tourist attraction. Capable of accommodating 5,000 worshippers in its main prayer hall and a further 95,000 in its courtyard, it remains the largest mosque in the world. From 1673 to 1986, a period of 313 years, when overtaken in size by the completion of the Faisal Mosque in Islamabad. Today, it remains the second largest mosque in Pakistan and South Asia and the 5th largest mosque in the world after Masjid al-Haram, Grand Mosque of Mecca, and Al-Masjid al-Nabwi, Prophet's Mosque in Medina. The Hassan II Mosque in Casablanca and the Faisal Mosque in Islamabad. To appreciate its large size, the 4 minarets of the Badshai Mosque are 13.9 feet, 4.2 meters taller than those of the Taj Mahal, and the main platform of the Taj Mahal can fit inside the 278,784 square feet courtyard of the Badshai Mosque, which is the largest mosque courtyard in the world. Architectural wonders. of Pakistan.
Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all are having an amazing Monday morning. This is Shazad Khan, of course. I am Shiza, bringing to you the best of information from the country.
Exactly, which is why, ladies and gentlemen, today we are very lucky that we've actually been joined by students of computer science, and they come from my university, alhamdulillah, and I take pride in it as well. Air University is the name. We will be asking them, there's a conference which is taking place as well, but not just that, but we will be focusing on cybersecurity and cyber warfare, as we mentioned before heading out towards a short break. We're very lucky that we've actually been joined by Mr. Saifur Rahman, all the way from Air University. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Wa alaikum salam, good morning.
Good morning, thank you very much for joining us.
You're
Alongside
welcome.
Saif, ladies and gentlemen, we're lucky that we have been joined by Ms. Dua Farooq. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, good morning.
Thank you very much, good morning, likewise. And last but not the least, we are very lucky that we've actually been joined by Mr. Abdullah Khalid, who happens to be a student at Air University. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum salam, how are you? Good
Absolutely
morning.
perfect. Thank you very much for joining us. So let's get the conversation started very quickly. So all of you are students of computer sciences as well, but you already have different fortes to yourself. So what is your specialization? What is your specialization? What is yours? Let's start with that.
My specializations include cybersecurity with artificial intelligence.
Okay.
And I'm also working with National Center for Cybersecurity in the National Cybercrime and Forensics Lab.
But you know, all of you working for cybersecurity is, do you think that there's so much attention which we need to pay towards cybersecurity?
Well,
Yes, because globally there's a 6 trillion loss that we bear globally on a global level because of lack of cybersecurity. And this is not just a Pakistani issue, this is like a global issue. So I think as a nation, as Pakistan, I think we are down the right road.
I think we shouldn't be really worried about it because, you know, our I think foreign reserves are only in billions. So I think we shouldn't be focusing on the trillions we are losing. Yeah.
but that is definitely a point to worry about, of course, because, ladies and gentlemen, right now, and the latest stat says that the digital penetration in Pakistan stands at 54%. Loosely speaking, that means more than half of the population in the country has access to, first of all, smartphones, and then any sort of internet services, broadband, cellular, whatnot, which also means they have access to all kinds of information throughout the world and also put out their information. Yes, which the question, of course, to you is going to be, after you let us know what you're studying, is this a threat, first of all, to the general public, which are not mostly educated, don't know that their data is actually an asset?
Yes.
Okay, you do it.
I am studying cybersecurity and I am working in digital forensics, like
Okay.
my FIP is in digital forensics. But I think as common people, they don't understand how much information unknowingly you are putting out. We see social media scandals every day. Every day there is some breach. So we don't understand that the power of data. Data is most valuable asset today in the world. It surpassed gold. So it means
Imagine.
that data is very valuable, it's being traded and stuff, and I think we as common people don't realize that how much information we are unknowingly giving out to internet that is going to stay there forever.
So what's the scary part over here? So if we are giving away information which is not really important, we're putting it up
It's
on the
not
internet,
that.
what's wrong in it?
You're sharing your locations,
Yeah.
your user patterns are being predicted.
Okay.
So, and that is why it's being traded, because your consumer what you're consuming, what you'll buy, everything is being predicted.
So which is why, you know, I'm going to move on to Abdullah very quickly. So Abdullah, answer this question because I've watched this documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know, I really need to be prepared. So imagine while we're talking about cybersecurity where they can use our patterns and information and our locations, imagine that they're even feeding us with the same kind of commercials or the same kind of adverts which we kind of like to watch. Don't you think that it's a breach of my security?
Well, actually, it's not. We don't read the fine print usually. No one does. But
people at
it's
Facebook
all written over there. It's not something like that's not a breach.
The terms
That
and
we
conditions.
are actually accepting those terms.
So I'll tell you. So imagine that if I'm listening to Quran translation,
Yeah.
right? I watch one video and then there's going to be an entire thread of it because I'll continue to do so.
Yeah.
So I believe that rather than probably whatever commercials were there underneath, all of a sudden they were going to go somewhere away, and then I will have a complete thread of Quran translations. Don't you think that that's a breach of my security?
That is
Because they're observing my patterns.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, this is the kind of videos he watched. Feed him those videos.
Yeah,
But isn't that
that's
how
the
it
point.
works?
People don't read the fine print. That's all written over there. So people are like, okay, that's just my data. What can possibly go wrong? And they just go ahead with it.
Yeah.
But
what can possibly go wrong?
things can go wrong.
For
So
example?
basically, a few days ago I was watching a video, and basically there was a girl who shared, oh, I bought these shoes for my graduation.
Girl video, yes.
Yeah, she said, I got these shoes for my graduation, and she shared her university. Then she shared a big picture of her degree, which led to her personal information like roll number and all,
Yeah.
and which led to her address, which led to her date of birth. And next day she got a notification on the phone that her account is empty now.
Really?
Imagine
Yeah.
that.
I mean, but she never shared her password. I mean, she did.
No,
So I think this is the one where, so it was sort of a selfie where just randomly her ATM card was, I don't know if this is the same story or another one, on the table, all right? So it's a
Yes.
Oh,
selfie.
yeah, I've seen
Exactly.
that.
And imagine that. So, because we're really short on time, and yes, whatever you said, it makes sense, and it's sort of really scary for people like me. We're laymen, we don't understand how the science of this works. So we're definitely scared of what we are giving in the hands of people over here.
Yeah.
I want you to, all three of you, to actually highlight the conference that you guys are holding right now. Is it still going on? It's a 3-day thing, right? So what are you
23rd,
talking about?
Yes. This conference is actually about this research in cybersecurity. It contains multiple domains in which researchers are actually putting their innovations in the world.
Right.
Since this is an international conference, this conference does not is not limited to just researchers. There would be an
Industrial
exhibition
exhibition,
for of the cybersecurity softwares, as well as there would be some international speakers who would be definitely putting their knowledge in the conference. So, and more than that, there would be some practical of the cybersecurity that would be displayed there in the form of the tests and about that.
That's wonderful. So, I think I'm going to move on to Dua over here. So, Dua, imagine that, we are talking about cybersecurity. We have an idea about what it is, but how do we secure the cyber? Let's talk about it.
And is the government keen about it, though?
Yes, I think the conference is basically to get the academia, the industry, the
Everybody on
governing
board.
bodies, the military, all under the same roof, so we can discuss policy making, we can discuss where we are lacking, because we know that first world countries are taking this very seriously because of the economic loss. We should be taking it seriously, or military assets are at stake. So that is why this conference is here, and government is very keen, because we should see that 5 years ago or 2 years ago, we didn't have that kind of laws, that strict of laws. If you look at laws right now, the fine can go up to 10 million. The fine is for very minor things that we are unknowingly doing is up to million rupees. And I think the laws are there. There's just a better need to implement that. And I think we are also the military and the governing bodies, I think they're trying to take this very seriously.
Exactly. The last time I think there was this news as well when Nawaz Sharif actually happened to be the Prime Minister of Pakistan, and it was like that if somebody is going to post something about Nawaz Sharif Saab,
Yes.
he will be fined up to 5 million.
So
or
much
6
for
million.
freedom of
I
expression.
was like, how come that there are laws which are only going to be for the person who's actually in the chair?
But that's the issue, right? I mean, you know what? Let's really
Yeah,
not
let's
go.
not go over there. So I actually want to move on to Abdullah over here. I mean, obviously, when we talk about softwares, when we talk about data, when we talk about cybersecurity, it's $1 billion industry now,
Yeah.
and everybody's paving their way. In terms of technology, Pakistan does have its own challenges because we are not the makers of the technology, we are the users of the technology. But with such conferences, obviously, you guys are making sure that there's going to be more people kind of moving towards technological interventions and technological innovations. So now, for example, talking about a university, I still remember, I think it's first of its kind, where I think there people were going for aeronautical engineering as well, and then we had some state-of-the-art labs filled with water once, because there was rain. But don't you think that that we really need to kind of focus on making more technological advanced objects than rather than just kind of doing the conferences?
Okay, so the thing is, while we are moving towards technological things, Pakistan doesn't manufacture a lot of chips and all, and for these things you need that thing. So we have to start at a grassroots level. We have to start making chips and slowly move towards the network hardware and all. So what I would like to say is security is not like only responsibility of us researchers, like everyone's responsibility. Even you are responsible for your own research.
मेरा account है, मैं ही बचाऊंगा.
Yeah. So it shouldn't be like it shouldn't be like even if Pakistan manufactures the greatest router, greatest networking things ever, and your password is Pakistan 123.
Yeah,
that'll be hacked.
I mean, no, imagine that nobody remembers their passwords these days as well. It's auto login. So you want to wrap it up, give out a message.
Okay.
Close it up.
Before just wrapping it up, I want to add something that the NCCS, that is National Center for Cybersecurity, is actually designing and making softwares that protect our cyberspace. At NCCS, we have developed operating systems and different softwares that prevent intrusions in your mobile phones as well as your other than mobile phone system. So
wonderful. So thank you very much, kids, for taking out time, coming over here, making cyber sphere of Pakistan safe. Thank you very much once again, and obviously, since you guys are from my university, best of luck. You guys are doing a great job, ladies and gentlemen. We actually have a small report. Go ahead, take a look, and after that, obviously, good morning. Look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Bye bye.
Take care. Good morning.
Cybersecurity refers to the body of technologies, processes, and practices designed to protect networks, devices, programs, and data from the attack, damage, or unauthorized access. Cybersecurity may also be referred to as information technology security. Cybersecurity is important because government, military, corporate, financial, and medical organizations collect, process, and store unprecedented amounts of data on computers and other devices. A significant portion of that data can be sensitive information, whether that be intellectual property, financial data, personal information, or other types of data for which unauthorized access or exposure could have negative consequences. Organizations transmit sensitive data across networks and to other devices in the course of doing businesses, and cybersecurity describes the discipline dedicated to protecting the information and the systems used to process or store it. The global cyber threat continues to evolve at a rapid pace, with a rising number of data breaches each year. A report by Risk-Based Security revealed that a shocking 7.9 billion records have been exposed by data breaches in the first 9 months of 2019 alone. This figure is more than double the number of records exposed in the same period in 2018. For an effective cybersecurity, an organization needs to coordinate its effort throughout its entire information system. Pakistan is also being one of the top targets of foreign espionage. There are increased calls within the country to devote more resources for securing computer systems, investing in the security of the country's digital infrastructure, and strengthening cybersecurity research and development. Pakistan also needs a strong cybersecurity framework to counter identity theft, financial data theft, and surveillance of critical infrastructure.